count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast blood.
What's up, gang? Welcome to the G.R.I.N.D. Simon Arias here. Get ready, it's a new day. What's up, gang? Welcome to another episode of the G.R.I.N.D. Get ready, it's a new day. You know what that means in the background. We got Perm.
What's going on, brother?
Back in the house, in the studio.
Been a while, but I'm back.
Looking like Run DMC's.
At the smaller version now, you know.
Yeah, looking like you can break dance. So I think we're gonna pop a couple interviews here today. We're gonna do some interview questions.
A little bit about investing,
and because there's been a lot of talk around the whole cryptocurrency and all this stuff going on right now, and Bitcoin and all that. So investing is a big thing. So I know you wanted to do some investing talk.
Kinda, yeah. You know, a lot of people want to invest in a lot of things. I want to know, like, what do you invest in first? Can it be? Is it money, or is it more time?
So I think you invest, it depends on where you're at, but you invest time if you don't have a lot of money.
Okay.
You invest your time first, and then the time brings the money. But I like the word investment around that because time is money.
Correct.
And so when you're investing your time into something, you have to look at it as you're almost investing something more precious than money. But a lot of times, everybody starts usually, unless you're handed down something, you're starting with no money. So the only thing that you have is time. And so what happens is the more money that you gain over time, if you're smart with it, then you can buy time for yourself, or you can multiply it. So in essence, like there's only so much one person can do.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? We both got 24 hours today. But if I need 48 hours, it's impossible unless I hire somebody that's can go to work with me. Now we got 48 hours. Well, I buy that with my money in order to create more time.
Right.
Or if I want more time, let's say I was on the grind to get all this money, and now I want more time. Now I can hire somebody to give me more time. So I pay that person, frees me up to not have to work as much in the business in that sector or whatever. And then it creates more time. So I would say time comes first, and then depending on where you're at, and we'll get more in tune with talking about this is what do you do with that money if that's the route that you go? How do you invest that money?
Okay. Another one to someone. So this one is it worth to invest someone initially, and they have what it takes to be successful? So basically, if they don't have what it takes to be successful, is it worth you investing your time in this?
If they don't have what it takes, probably not. There's always a rule of, there's always an exception to the rule. But I look at attitude and effort. What is a person's attitude like? And what is their effort like? And then I look at what is their talent level like. So, if their talent level isn't great, it's average, but they have a great attitude and great effort, then we'll roll with that person. And the results will come over time. Right. If the results don't come in the first month or first couple months or whatever, that's normal. That's okay. I'll stick with somebody that shows up on time, puts in the effort, got a good attitude, all of that stuff. Over time, if they're bringing a good attitude and good effort, and we're into this thing and they're still not getting results, because that means their level of potential skill set in that area of their life may be pointed in the wrong direction. So, for example, if I bring the right attitude and the right effort, no matter how hard I try, I will not be the center on a basketball team for the LA Lakers, okay? Because I'm 5'7", not 7'7" or 6'7". You know what I mean? So effort and attitude ain't always gonna get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Or if I was trying to run the 100-meter dash and be in the Olympics, I'm fast locally,
right?
But I'm not. I wasn't a 4.240, 4 flat type of person. So no matter how good my attitude and effort is, I'm probably not going to reach, pinnacle levels at that. And so I think that if the person has attitude and effort and they're solid, I would work with that person until they get to a point where I've put in all the time and they're not getting the results. Then I owe it to both of us to kind of point them in a different direction. It's not a cold-hearted thing of I don't care about you,
right.
Get out. It's just, how can I help that person, point that positive attitude and effort in the right direction. Now, if the attitude and effort is off, my patience with that person, even if they have a higher skill set, is going to go down. Now, if the talent level's off the charts, it buys them more time with me to work on that attitude and effort. But I think typically what most people do is they get frustrated with people too soon,
right? Because
that's called development. If you invest into somebody, it takes time. You don't just flip it. No. You don't just, I invest into you today and I get all the return back next week. Right. Sometimes when you're dealing with people, you invest into them today and you don't get the return for another year.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. So basically you're saying that, coming back to that question, as soon as they come in, you just make sure that you take a run with them. And regardless of the fact of the matter, you hope it and you give
them a shot.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I give them a shot.
Love it. Now, what about,
sometimes people don't look the part and they are the part.
That's what I was going to say.
Sometimes people they look the part and they're not the part.
Correct.
So often.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've had them, and I could give this example for everything from fighting to business. And sometimes person look all yoked up and all jacked up, and they're soft, or in the business they dress sharp, they smell good, they talk smooth, and they can't make it. Right. And then sometimes you got somebody that looks a little out of shape or they're skinny or whatever, and they put a whooping on the dude with all the muscles, or don't look that put together, but they crush that person in business. So I try not to judge too much a book by its cover and let the action speak for itself.
Love it. Third question. Here we got, now you got these. Now, what's the better investment? Would you say a car or jewelry?
I think if it's just a broad thing, I say jewelry, because typically jewelry, if you buy the right jewelry, will hold its value, like diamonds. You know what I mean? If you hold them for 10 years and they're decent diamonds, they should go up.
Right. Never go down.
But you ain't going to lose it all.
Correct.
It ain't going to go way down. Or gold over time is going to go up. So, but cars are going to go down unless you just don't drive them. Some people buy them old school cars and, they fix it and they just let them sit there for 20 years. Those can go up, but I don't think we're talking about that. Yeah. So cars are going to depreciate. Now, a difference in this is if your business, you can attract more talent because of a nice car. Now the car becomes a better investment than jewelry. So, for example, if I buy a car for $50,000 and because of that $50,000 car, I'm able to recruit and attract talent into my business that now makes me $150,000 a year, because I can tie it to those 6 or 7 people that like that car. And that's how that conversation got started. Boom. Now that $50,000 investment, I flip to a $150,000 investment. Even if it goes down gradually over time, the income's going to go up over that car. And so, I know in our business, it's unfortunate, but people look at you from the outside in. I mean, it's like, well, why do you have to have that? Well, because it's going to be hard for me to explain to you the amount of success that we're having if I pick you up in a 1992 Honda versus pulling up in a Bentley or a Benz or or something like that. And so people look at you from the outside in, and that's the world that we're in. And so I think if you're earning money on the car, I think the car is the better one. If it's not a business and you're on a salary and you're not going to do any better based on that car, the jewelry is the better investment.
Boom. All right, let's get into it. 5 ways that you can invest into your people.
Ooh.
5 ways.
Okay. 5 ways. Yep. So setting aside one-on-one time to teach them the business. That's a way you can invest into your people.
Putting it to a schedule?
Putting it into your schedule. Okay. Consistently, even if it's once a month or once a week, depending on what's going on in your life. I think investing money into your people. So you can invest money into your people depending on what your people are. Your people, could be a lot of different things. Right. I remember my younger days, I invested into buying a dude a car, because he was helping me move things around and he didn't have a car. Right. So that would be investing into your people. Right. And so I think investing into your people depends on what business that you're in, but I think investing money and resources into those people is a way that you can invest into your people. I think investing into yourself is a way to invest into your people is the third one, because leadership is like being a parent. And so if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be a bad parent for your kids. Right. You know what I mean? And so the best thing you can do, this is what I try to tell people, and I'm no marriage professional or counselor, but I think if you want the best thing you could do for your kids, sometimes people get married and they give all the time to their kids and then let the marriage fall apart, and then it affects the kids. Yep. So one of the best things you could do for your kids is to take care of your marriage so the kids don't have to deal with the separation. Yep. And so I think if you invest into yourself as a leader, you become better for your people. That is an investment, for your people. I think investing into them mentally, physically, and spiritually. Here in this business, we hired, 3 different pastors that mentor some of our people spiritually and counsel them and, stuff like that. Forever, I had a workout for the staff, stuff like that. So which I think awesome. In investing into your people mentally, physically, and spiritually, guiding them in that direction is a huge investment, I think, into your people. And then the last one I would say, because these are off the cuff, we didn't plan none of this. No, it's just I didn't look at saying, oh, here's going to be my answer. So I think introducing them at the right time to the right people. So for example, a mentor of mine told me before, you could leverage 2 things in life. You could leverage money and you could leverage people. So for example, I was leaving today with Tress, right. and he's on the phone with this big CEO of a hospital, and they just so happen to be local to this area. And he's like, oh, before you leave, I want you to talk to this person. And he connects us over the phone. Already. And now we're going to meet up in person. Well, that's an investment into me from Tress, right. of saying, all right, let me link these 2 people up together. And so what I get to do is leverage my relationship with right. him to make another connection that maybe we end up helping a bunch of other people together. And so if I have a relationship or a connection to somebody, like when some of our top dogs were just getting started, I remember exposing them, grabbing them, and taking them to Surace Smith, taking them to Marcus's house, right. introducing them to some of my mentors, letting them see the vision. Here's a swimming pool in a man's house. Here's a basketball court in a man's house. Here's a workout facility in a man's house. And oh, by the way, you're going to be in the same business, and this is my dog. You don't have to wait. I had to wait years to talk to some. You didn't even write a piece of business yet. I'm going to introduce you to this person. That's an investment of my relationship, my credibility of giving that person that leverage. So those would be the 5 things.
Let's go. I think there was like
think 20. About that, Big Perm.
I like it. What investments do you make at home? What type of investments do you make at your casa?
Time. I invest time into my family, into my wife. Tonight is date night, so that's an investment at home. We're going on a date tonight. Investment for us, and investment for the kids. Yep. Scheduling time, planning out the time, to get at home, and then I invest humbling myself and my ego, because I pretty much let Nat, my wife, make most of the calls at home, because I used to, we did good this way, because I used to hate a lot of times when she would try to tell me what to do with the business. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, you ain't here all day. You ain't dealing with the people I got to deal with. And but she still gives me good advice sometimes in that area. And I'm just keeping it real. She don't even listen to these things that much. So it's not like I'm going to gain any points from this. I'm just keeping it real. So she don't really cross over into my world. She's like, just do your job. You know what I mean? And she supports me. She don't nag. She don't complain. Right. It lets me grind, lets me work. And that's something I appreciate, because a lot of women don't do that stuff, but they want the perks of the job. Yep. So I try not to do that in the home, because she's the one managing the home. She manages. I don't pay a bill. I don't call a person to fix a tree. I'm not handy. You know what I mean? So she's handling the home like it's the business, managing the kids. So I kind of, get home and let her kind of run the show. And I've invested into myself to humble myself to sometimes just get to a place where I can not sweat the small stuff. Yeah. And I think that's an investment into our family, into the house, into the relationship, where, I used to want to beef over every little thing. You know what I mean? Anything that wasn't perfect my way. You know, I'm competitive.
Right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to go 10-0.
Right.
You know what I mean? In everything I do, I want to win. And so I've had to learn the investment into the home, into the relationship is like, man, look, you got to understand this is a team a little bit. Now, I ain't going 2-8. You know what I mean? I ain't going to lose all the time.
Right. Of course we can't, but sometimes you got to.
But I'm cool with going 500 or, you know, understanding where it's like, let some stuff slide.
Right.
We ain't got to fight over something small. And I think that's an investment that I've been able to make at home.
That's a great answer, brother. Let's see.
Thanks, Jose.
I love it, buddy. Since he gave everybody my nickname. Since we are speaking about investing, do you invest into the stock market? I'm sorry, the stock market. And if you do, and if so, what on?
So, you crack me up. Let me tell you why you crack me up.
You crack me
because
up.
I called you by your first name, and he says that's his nickname.
Yeah, because
here's the funny thing.
My name. We're supposed to keep it on. You know what I mean?
Let's get off the cuff. Let's get off the beaten path a little bit.
We're supposed to be on the hush. And everybody's supposed to almost guess my name.
So what's funny is people will be around us for years and not know your real name.
Absolutely.
And what's great is when we go to professional settings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to
like
everybody.
in the streets, this is normal shit going on. But professional settings.
Yeah.
When we all introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, what's your name? Simon. Here. What's your name? Tammy. Here's your name. Hey, Natalie.
Hey, Nat. How you doing?
What's your name? Perm.
Hey, Perm.
And they always end up saying, what? They always end up saying, excuse me?
After what?
And the funniest shit to me is when he comes back and says it again. He comes back with the perm. Yeah, there wasn't a mistake, which you heard.
It.
Perm. They're like, huh?
All right.
Yeah, perm.
All right.
Shake hands with him, perm. Doesn't give the first name, doesn't attempt to explain it, just perm, like you should have knew. So when I said the real first name, you said I gave your nickname. That's hilarious because that's more like your nickname because your real name is Perm. So, I do invest into the market.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I do. I've taken the approach of not taking a shit ton of risk in the stock market, and I've learned these things from multi-millionaires and billionaires. So they say, man, if you want to, be a millionaire, get around some other millionaires. Well, I've been a millionaire for a while.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a billionaire, you better listen to some billionaires.
Right.
You better listen to somebody worth a couple $100 million.
Right.
I ain't got a couple $100 million, not yet.
Not yet.
But
we're working on it.
But I know a bunch of people that got it, and they're good people, and I pick their brain. What I've learned from a lot of these people, if you own a business, you're already taking a risk. That is your risk. And so I've learned to make my business my Wall Street. So I'd rather take the risk in this business where I'm the controller of Wall Street.
Correct.
Of how I'm going to get that return.
Correct.
Versus throwing it to somebody else. I don't know what they're doing in their personal life. Enron can happen. Stock market crash can happen.
Now you're broke.
And so I don't need to take a bunch of crazy risk in the market. I want to get returns so my money, because if your money's sitting there doing nothing, it's better than losing it. But after you don't lose it, it's actually losing you money because inflation's happened. Every year the cost of living's going up. And so I like to make money that beats inflation, but doesn't give me an extreme amount of risk because the risk we're taking is in the business and I can control it. So that's my stock market. Now, I do invest into the market. I did a podcast with my dude. Shout out Jason Staley, Schneider Downs,
what's up, dog?
My former roommate. And I have over, a lot of money with him still in there. And I do that because I trust him. And I don't know how many people would do that for me, but I really, a lot of it, I just do it because I love them.
Right.
I'm just like, man, I just want you to have this because I love you. But he don't lose. We don't make 100% returns because I'm not gambling the house.
Right.
But that's where I put some money, but it's probably not even 20%. It's not even close to I don't think 20% of my overall investment portfolio is in the market personally. It's me personally. And so when I do, I let it go with him. But if I had to do it myself, I've learned to just bet on the smartest people in America. So
just follow what they do.
Who's the smartest cats in America? Who is controlling America, and who are the smartest people? So for example, back in the day, you would look at like, all right, Google or Amazon or Tesla or like all these people that are just crushing it, Bezos. And, it's like, man, look, let me bet on these 4 cats that are super smart. And I bet you over time, those things pop would be my thing. And I've dabbled. I'd be fibbing if I told you otherwise, but not a lot. I mean, dabble, small, into the new crypto deal.
Yeah,
dabble. Like when I say dabble, like not a ton, couple G's. You know what I mean? Not major in there just to see what's cracking. But I don't hate on people when they do that because some people may need to take that type of risk. I don't need to take that type of risk. And the risk, like, mine, I made 100% returns. I made 100% returns too last month because I put a contest up and the money came back double and I control it. I ain't got to trip over nothing. I don't even got to look at it. You know what I mean? So that's my investing strategy.
Here's another one about it.
But I go into real estate.
I know you are.
That's my outside of the business.
So that
I didn't even talk about.
Okay, so
and you're around me a lot.
Yeah,
you know more of my business than anybody. Perm. I should have you sign something.
Yeah, for sure.
If we wasn't so tight and so close, you know what I mean? It's like I trust you with my life.
For sure.
But real estate is where I put the majority of my stuff. So if I said 20% is invested over here, probably 60, 70% everything is invested into the real estate. More controllable. Over time, it's brick and mortar. Like I can see it, I can touch it. Some of this stuff I can't touch. It's just like, what if the government just said, I just want to poof, just gone. But you can't just pick up my house. You know what I'm saying? Like bricks, people are always going to need a place to live. Always. And regardless of what's going on, real estate, you should be able over time to win because if the banks aren't loaning, then you have more renters. Right. So people want to rent. Correct. So if you own real estate, they're renting from you. Right. Now, if banks are loaning and the interest rates are low, you can buy real estate and it's really not costing you as much money because it's so low to buy the real estate for what they'll loan it to you for. It's another good play. And then when people are paying the rent, they're actually paying the mortgage down for you and it don't cost you $1. So whatever the worth is of that thing over time, it's going to be paid down. You just got to be patient, and over time. People hear real estate. Well, what I've learned is it takes a lot of money to make a lot of money in real estate. You can't get into real estate and bring 20 grand and think you're going to start making a shit ton of money. In my experience, and what I've learned. So I'm sure maybe there's somebody out there in the middle of nowhere that's figured out a way to do it. But for me, if you usually, a good number is like, man, if you could get 10%, that is that point of, because when you get over that, you start taking an extreme amount of risk. I remember one of my billionaire friends, I brought my returns one year of what I got in the market. And you know who this person is. And at that year, I remember I got like 15% on my money. And he was like, that's too much. I thought he was going to be proud of me. Right. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, smart, bro. He was like, that's too much, Simon. Because if you're taking that much, 15, you could go down 50 because the risk is too high in that. And that was his philosophy. Right. Okay. And so I've coupled that philosophy with other philosophies. I'm not married to that philosophy, but I think in a cash basis, not principal pay down because people are paying the rents, not the cost of the housing market going up over time. So that's going to increase your value. Not all the tax deductions and all of that stuff. I'm talking about cash money. Cash money, consulting, baby. Let's go. If you want to buy a building for $1 million. You typically need 20% down. So now you need 200 grand. Okay. To get $1 million building. Then you finance the other 800,000. Right. Okay. That 200 grand, if you get 10% on that money, that's 20,000 a year. That ain't that much, but you had to come up with a couple $100 grand to get that popping and have the credit to get $1 million building. And so over time, that will accrue more wealth because the pay down will go down and the cost of the building or whatever can go up and all that stuff. And so over time you could generate wealth that way. But if I wanted to make a bunch of money in it, even if I'm flipping, homes, you need chunks of freaking money a lot of times to do that stuff. And so, but if that's not your business, like you're not a builder, you're not like Buffett is a real estate investor. That's where he should take his risk because that's his damn business.
Right.
That's what he eats, sleeps, and shits. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, he should be mixing up stocks and all this stuff because from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed in the last 50 years, that's what he's been working on. That's his business. He should be all up in the market. Right. That ain't my business. This is my business. This is where I'm all up in the market. So unless that's your business, it's going to be tough to really make a bunch of bank doing. People think, oh, I'm going to do real estate. Okay, well, where's the money at that you're going to do the real estate? Because you need a bunch of money to make a bunch of money in real estate typically, unless you starting to, unless you're talking flipping homes, and you still need chunks of money in order to do that stuff. And then don't forget, once in a while you mess up or take a loss or somebody does something wrong. Now you need extra money to fix something, or you need attorneys, and stuff like that. So. Long-winded answer, but I'm passionate about that subject.
Like that. Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast, bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome to the G.R.I.N.D. Simon Arias here. Get ready, it's a new day.